Oh, I wish her all the very best. I can't wait to meet her, because we haven't yet met.
Princess Catherine has filled the palace with sadness, leaving staff members tearful, shaken, and struggling with their emotions. The royal home, once full of smiles and calm moments, now feels heavy with worry and silence. "We are truly heartbroken," one palace worker expressed, their voice thick with pain. Catherine, who has always brought light and comfort, now leaves those around her filled with fear and concern, creating an emotional and deeply troubled atmosphere throughout the royal environment. What could have happened to cause such widespread sorrow? Catherine, Princess of Wales, has never been one for pretense. Despite marrying into the world's most famous family in 2011, she has remained remarkably grounded and human. Those who work alongside her every day witness a side rarely seen by the public. Behind the perfectly coordinated outfits, gracious smiles, and practiced royal waves exists a woman of extraordinary warmth, genuine kindness, and absolute sincerity. She does not play a role. This is simply who Catherine is. It is this authenticity that has made her beloved not only by millions worldwide but especially by the dedicated staff members at Kensington Palace, many of whom have also served other members of the royal family. Over the decades, those who have worked closely with Catherine often speak in hushed, reverent tones about her unique approach. She does not demand, she requests. She does not order, she collaborates. When planning events or royal engagements, she actively seeks input from those around her, valuing the expertise and experience of people who have dedicated their careers to royal service. A longtime palace aide once shared that Catherine possesses an almost uncanny ability to remember small details about people's lives' birthdays without reminders, anniversaries of both joyful and sorrowful occasions, and even the names of grandchildren she has never met but has heard about in casual palace conversations. Her relationships with her personal secretary, ladies-in-waiting, and household staff have evolved far beyond professional courtesy, becoming deeply personal bonds. These individuals have watched Catherine transform from a nervous young bride overwhelmed by royal protocol into a confident, capable future queen. They have been present during her most vulnerable moments, triumphs, struggles, public successes, and private tears. They witnessed her endure severe hyperemesis gravidarum during all three of her pregnancies, seeing her determination to fulfill royal duties even while battling debilitating illness. They also observed her navigate relentless media scrutiny, unfair comparisons, harsh criticism, and invasive attention that would have broken lesser souls. Through it all, Catherine never faltered. Catherine has never taken her frustrations out on those around her. She does not become imperious or demanding under stress. Instead, she grows more grateful, appreciative, and aware of the sacrifices her staff make to support her and her growing family. When working late into the night preparing for overseas tours or major royal events, she ensures that meals are provided for everyone involved, often personally checking that dietary requirements and preferences are met. She is known to write handwritten thank you notes after particularly demanding periods, expressing genuine gratitude for her team's dedication and hard work. The foundation of trust she has built within Kensington Palace is extraordinary, and according to royal historians, virtually unprecedented in modern royal history. Staff members do not fear her, they respect her deeply, yes, but more than that, they genuinely care about her as a person. Catherine has created an environment where people feel valued, where their contributions are acknowledged, and where their well-being matters. When she asks how someone is doing, she truly listens. She notices when someone is troubled or distracted and offers support without overstepping boundaries, maintaining appropriate professional distance while demonstrating authentic human concern. This culture of mutual respect and care has resulted in remarkably low staff turnover at Kensington Palace, unusual for royal households where the demands are intense and hours unpredictable. People who work for Catherine tend to stay, not out of obligation or ambition, but because they believe in her mission and have come to love and admire the woman behind the title. They have seen her with her children, witnessing the tender, playful, devoted mother she becomes when official duties end. They have observed her partnership with William, noting the genuine affection and mutual support that define their marriage, and they have watched her grow into her role as future queen. Catherine has grown into her role as queen consort with grace, intelligence, and unwavering commitment to service. So when something truly devastating happens to someone you care about deeply, someone you know not as a distant royal figure, but as a real person with fears, hopes, and vulnerabilities, the emotional impact is profound. The staff at Kensington Palace have not simply worked for Catherine. They have walked alongside her through one of the most extraordinary lives imaginable. They have celebrated her victories, worried during her struggles, protected her privacy, guarded her secrets, and stood as silent witnesses to both her public triumphs and private challenges. What they were about to learn would test the strength of these bonds in ways none of them could have anticipated. The news that reached their ears would shatter the careful composure palace life demands, reduce grown men and women to tears, and shake the very foundations of the household they had built together. When someone you genuinely love faces an unimaginable crisis, professional boundaries dissolve, titles become meaningless, and all that remains is the raw, aching concern of one human heart for another. The beginning of 2024, which should have been a year of renewed energy and ambitious plans for Catherine and the royal family, instead brought a devastating reality. In January, she underwent what was initially described as planned abdominal surgery, with official statements reassuring the public that the condition was non-cancerous and that she would need time to recover. While the nation sent well wishes, a far more frightening reality was unfolding behind palace walls. Medical tests following the surgery revealed something doctors had not anticipated: cancer. At just 42 years old, a devoted mother of 3 and future queen consort of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth realms, Catherine faced a diagnosis that makes everything else fade into insignificance. The days following this revelation were among the darkest she had ever experienced. Catherine and William had to process the diagnosis privately, navigating the difficult reality of treatment options, prognosis, and the impact on their family. They needed to find the strength to explain to George, Charlotte, and Louis that their mother was sick and would require special treatment to get better, all while presenting a calm, reassuring front to 3 young children who wanted to believe everything would be all right. Before any public announcement, Catherine knew she had to personally inform the people closest to her. The staff who would notice her prolonged absence, who would need to understand why engagements were being cancelled and why carefully planned events were being indefinitely postponed. These were not strangers. They were people who cared for her deeply and deserved to hear the news directly rather than through official channels or media reports. In early March 2024, Catherine requested a private meeting with her senior household staff. Those present would later describe it as one of the most emotionally difficult moments of their careers. Catherine, still recovering from surgery and processing the shock of her diagnosis, sat before her extended family of staff and told them the truth. She explained what the doctors had found, the treatment she would undergo, and her decision to step back from public duties for the foreseeable future. Her voice remained steady for much of the conversation, demonstrating the remarkable composure she had cultivated over years of public service, but those present could see the fear in her eyes, hear the slight tremor when she spoke of her children, and feel the weight of uncertainty in every word. She spoke honestly about the challenges ahead, including the preventative chemotherapy that would dominate the coming months and the physical and emotional toll it would bring. Catherine was determined to fight the disease with everything she had for William, for her children, and for the life they had built together. Household staff, who had long witnessed her devotion to her children, felt their hearts break at the thought of what this family was enduring. Even as she shared her own diagnosis, Catherine's concern was for them. She asked how they were processing the news, offered reassurance that she would get through this, that the prognosis was good, and that she had access to the best medical care. She comforted them when they should have been comforting her, demonstrating once again the selfless, caring nature that had made her so beloved. During that meeting, she also made a specific request that revealed the depth of her trust. She asked for their discretion, loyalty, and help in protecting her privacy and her children's well-being during the coming months. She wanted time to undergo treatment without media speculation, to shield her children from frightening headlines, and to have the space to be vulnerable without the world watching. Her determination to maintain normalcy for George, Charlotte, and Louis was absolute. Despite chemotherapy, exhaustion, and fear, she remained committed to school runs, bedtime stories, and family dinners, wanting her children's memories of this period to reflect her presence and strength rather than her illness. Staff pledged unwavering support and absolute discretion, managing rescheduled engagements with care and creating a protective barrier around Catherine and her family. In the weeks that followed, as Catherine began chemotherapy, staff witnessed her courage firsthand. She faced the most challenging days with quiet strength, still asking about their families, expressing gratitude, and refusing to be defined by her illness. She fought with dignified resilience, inspiring everyone around her. By late November 2024, Catherine had completed her preventative chemotherapy. The physical ordeal had been as challenging as predicted, but she endured it with the same quiet determination that has defined her life. The medical team was cautiously optimistic about Catherine's prognosis, and there was genuine hope that the cancer had been caught early enough to prevent its return. For the first time in months, she could imagine a future beyond hospital appointments and treatment schedules, envisioning a return to the royal duties she had devoted herself to for over 13 years. Yet the experience had profoundly changed her perspective on what truly mattered. The months of treatment, the enforced absence from public life, and the time spent focusing solely on recovery and family had given Catherine clarity she had never possessed before. Life was fragile, time with loved ones was precious, and her children's formative years were passing far too quickly. George at 11, Charlotte at 9, and Louis at 6. Catherine had always tried to balance her royal responsibilities with motherhood, attending school plays and reading bedtime stories. But the relentless pace of royal life, overseas tours, ceremonial obligations, and constant engagements meant she missed countless small moments. She had accepted these sacrifices as part of her role, understanding that service to the nation and the Commonwealth was her duty as future queen consort. But facing the very real possibility of a drastically shortened life shifted everything. What value was fulfilling every royal engagement if she missed her children growing up? What legacy mattered more than being the mother George, Charlotte, and Louis needed during these irreplaceable years? By early December 2024, Catherine made a decision that would shock the royal establishment and deeply affect those closest to her. She would not be returning to full-time royal duties, possibly for several years. She would significantly scale back her public role, maintaining only the most essential engagements and devoting the majority of her time and energy to her family, her health, and her recovery. This was not a permanent retirement but a deliberate choice to prioritize motherhood and well-being over public service during this critical period. William fully supported her decision, having witnessed the physical and emotional toll of her treatment and knowing the importance of being present for their children. Having lost his own mother at 15, he understood the profound impact of absence and was committed to ensuring George, Charlotte, and Louis had both parents fully engaged during these formative years. Catherine wrote personal letters to each senior staff member, explaining her decision in her own words. The letters were handwritten, deeply personal, and heartbreakingly honest. She expressed profound gratitude for their loyalty and support, especially during the dark months of her illness, and acknowledged the sacrifices they had made to protect her privacy and care for her family. She explained that her decision came from a place of love, a mother's urgent need to be present for her children while they still wanted her around, while the moment still mattered. She wrote about George, who at 11 was beginning to understand the weight of his future responsibilities as heir to the throne and needed his mother's guidance. About Charlotte, spirited and strong-willed, developing her own identity and wanting her mother's support to grow into a confident young woman. And about Louis, still so young, for whom a mother's presence was essential and whose missed bedtimes and cancelled plans left lasting impressions. Catherine made clear that this choice was not a rejection of royal duty or an abandonment of responsibility. She would still undertake essential engagements, represent the crown when necessary, and support the causes and charities she had championed for years, but she could no longer sacrifice her family's well-being or miss the small, precious moments that made up her children's childhood. Catherine could no longer look at her children and wonder if she would regret her absences when they were grown. The staff who received her letters were devastated, weeping as they read her words and understood the impossible choice she had made for her children's sake. They recognized that this decision had not been made lightly, that it represented a profound shift in how Catherine viewed her role and her priorities. They could see the love behind every word, the aching desire to be the mother her children needed, and the fear that time was running out to create lasting memories. What broke their hearts most was the guilt Catherine expressed in her letters. She apologized for letting them down, for changing the nature of their roles, and for not being the Princess of Wales they had signed up to serve. She worried that their work had been for nothing, that their dedication was wasted, and that she was somehow failing them by choosing her family over public duty. This self-recrimination was quintessentially Catherine, always thinking of others, even when making decisions about her own life and health. The staff's response was immediate and unequivocal. They reassured her through letters, emails, and messages that she owed them no apology, that her decision was not only understandable but admirable, and that any parent in her position would make the same choice. They reminded her that she had already given years of dedicated service to the nation, representing the crown with grace and dignity through countless engagements. The staff reminded Catherine that after years of dedicated service and countless public engagements, she had earned the right to prioritize her family's needs. They assured her that supporting her through this transition would be their honor, and that their loyalty to her as a person far exceeded any attachment to job descriptions. Several long-serving staff members admitted privately that her decision had prompted them to reassess their own priorities, realizing that careers, titles, and professional achievements pale in comparison to the relationships and moments that truly matter. They saw in Catherine's choice a courage that transcended public duty, the bravery to step away from expectations and obligations in order to honor a deeper responsibility to the people she loved most. When the announcement was made to the public in mid-December 2024, it was carefully worded and deliberately vague. Kensington Palace stated that the Princess of Wales would be scaling back her public duties to focus on her recovery and her family following cancer treatment, emphasizing that the measure was temporary and that Catherine remained committed to her role as future queen consort, but wanted time to heal and be present for her children during this pivotal period. Inside Kensington Palace, the emotional impact was profound. Staff members who had worked alongside Catherine for years struggled with the reality that their daily interactions would become far less frequent. The vibrant, busy household that had defined Kensington Palace during her most active years would quiet considerably, with carefully coordinated schedules, overseas tours, and meaningful charity work dramatically reduced. It felt like a profound shift in the very rhythm of palace life. Tea felt like losing something precious, like watching a chapter close before anyone was ready for it to end. To truly understand why Catherine's decision affected her staff so deeply, one must recognize the unique relationships she cultivated with the people who worked for her. These were not typical employer-employee dynamics. Over 13 years of marriage to Prince William, Catherine had created something rare in royal households, a genuine sense of family among those who served her. There was Maria, her longtime housekeeper, present at Kensington Palace since 2013, who had witnessed Prince George take his first steps in the nursery, helped decorate Charlotte's bedroom after her birth, and baked Louis's favorite biscuits each week simply because she knew they brought him joy. Catherine had attended Maria's daughter's wedding in 2019, sent flowers when Maria's mother passed in 2022, and personally granted Maria time off to care for her aging father without any reduction in pay. Maria would never forget the morning in 2016 when she arrived at work to find Catherine already in the kitchen preparing breakfast for George and Charlotte. The princess, still in a dressing gown with her hair in a simple ponytail, was scrambling eggs while helping 2-year-old Charlotte wash her hands and listening to 3-year-old George's excited story about a dream. When Maria protested that preparing breakfast was her job, Catherine simply smiled and said that being a mother was hers. That moment perfectly encapsulated everything Maria loved about working for Catherine. Despite having access to staff who could manage every aspect of domestic life, Catherine insisted on doing many things herself when it came to her children, making school lunches most mornings, packing bags for playdates, and knowing exactly which stuffed animal each child could not sleep without. She did not parent from a distance. She was fully present in the small, intimate moments of their daily lives. Catherine did not parent from a distance or delegate the meaningful work of raising her children. She was hands-on, present, and deeply involved in every aspect of their lives. Then there was James, her private secretary since 2018, who had worked in royal service for over 20 years and could say without hesitation that serving Catherine had been the most rewarding experience of his career. Catherine trusted him implicitly, valued his counsel, and made him feel like a true partner rather than an employee following orders. James recalled the 2019 overseas tour to Pakistan, one of the most complex and sensitive trips he had ever coordinated, with nightmarish logistics, constant security concerns, and high diplomatic stakes. During a particularly difficult planning meeting, Catherine noticed his stress. After everyone else had left, she sat beside him and told him she trusted him completely, that she knew he was doing everything possible, and that even if something went wrong, they would handle it together. She reminded him that they were a team, that she valued his expertise, and that his well-being mattered more than any flawless execution of protocol. That private moment of kindness meant everything to James and exemplified Catherine's leadership style. Supportive rather than demanding, collaborative rather than authoritarian, genuinely caring about the people who worked for her. While the Pakistan tour was a tremendous success, James always remembered that moment as its most meaningful highlight. Likewise, Catherine's lady-in-waiting, Sophie, had known her since their university days at St. Andrews, long before Catherine became the Duchess of Cambridge. Their foundation of genuine friendship shaped their working relationship profoundly. Sophie had stood beside Catherine during some of the most significant moments of her royal life: the 2011 wedding, the births of all 3 children, countless official engagements and overseas tours, but it was the quiet, personal moments she treasured most, such as Catherine confiding her fears about preparing George for his future role. Catherine never pretended to have all the answers, nor did she project false confidence about the impossible task of raising future monarchs while trying to give them a normal childhood. She was honest about her uncertainties, her mistakes, and her constant worry that she might somehow be failing George, Charlotte, and Louis despite doing everything in her power to protect and nurture them. Sophie, her longtime lady-in-waiting, had been one of the first people outside the immediate family to learn about Catherine's cancer diagnosis. She held Catherine as she wept, listened as the princess expressed her terror at possibly leaving her children motherless, and witnessed a vulnerability few others had ever seen. That trust deepened their bond beyond anything Sophie had experienced professionally. Catherine was not just an employer or a princess. She was a friend facing the fight of her life, and Sophie would have done anything to help her through it. Officer David, part of Catherine's protection team since 2015 and a father of 3 daughters, experienced her same remarkable attentiveness. Catherine sincerely asked about his daughter's school achievements, sports, and hobbies. When his middle daughter struggled with anxiety in 2022, Catherine quietly shared strategies that had helped George, never making David feel as though he was burdening her. In 2023, when his eldest daughter competed in a regional gymnastics event, Catherine, with no official engagement scheduled, sent a handwritten note wishing her good luck and expressing pride in her dedication. That note became a treasured keepsake, symbolizing the genuine care that transformed her protection team into fiercely loyal guardians. They protected her not out of duty alone, but out of admiration for her as a mother and respect for her dignity and kindness. The household staff, chefs, cleaners, and maintenance workers shared similar experiences. Catherine knew their names, inquired about their families, noticed when someone seemed troubled, and treated them as equals, not merely as servants. When her cancer diagnosis forced her to step back from public life in early 2024, the staff understood the profound shift that lay ahead, both for the palace and for the family they loved and served. The staff felt Catherine's absence acutely. Beyond changes to routines and responsibilities, it meant losing daily contact with someone they genuinely cared about. They worried about her constantly, seeking updates on her treatment, recovery, and well-being, eager to help in any way they could. Learning that she would not return to a full royal schedule, and that her presence at Kensington Palace would be greatly reduced, felt like losing a family member not through death, thank God, but through necessary absence. They understood and supported her decision completely. Yet the pain remained. They would miss her bright smile in the corridors, her warmth, her kindness, and the sense of purpose that came from supporting someone who genuinely made the world better through service and compassion. Throughout this ordeal, from the initial surgery in January 2024, through grueling chemotherapy, to the difficult decision to scale back her duties, Prince William has been her unwavering rock. Those closest to the couple witnessed a partnership that transcends the formal requirements of royal marriage, a genuine love story unfolding amidst unimaginable pressure and heartbreak. William's devotion has never been performative. Behind closed doors, away from cameras and engagements, he has been completely present for Catherine, moving even seasoned palace staff to tears. He rearranged his schedule during her treatment, canceling engagements, postponing tours, and prioritizing being at her side above all else. Staff recall seeing him in palace corridors during her worst treatment days, his face etched with worry, carrying tea and toast to her quarters when she could barely eat, determined that she would manage something, anything. He took over school runs every morning, getting George, Charlotte, and Louis ready, packing their bags, and driving them himself, maintaining the normalcy Catherine believed crucial for their children. William's own emotional struggle has been profound. Having lost his mother, Princess Diana, at 15, he knew the terror of children losing a parent, and the possibility of his own children facing the same nightmare weighed heavily on him. Protection officers reported seeing him alone late at night, head in hands, crushed by fear and helplessness, yet he never allowed his children to witness that fear. The front that William and Catherine presented to George, Charlotte, and Louis was remarkable in its strength and consistency. They were honest with the children about Catherine's illness in age-appropriate ways, never lying but also never burdening them with adult fears and uncertainties. They maintained routines, celebrated birthdays and holidays as normally as possible, and filled their home with laughter and love even during the darkest moments. When Catherine decided to step back from royal duties, William supported her completely and publicly, praising her years of dedicated service, acknowledging the impossible sacrifices she had made, and defending her choice to prioritize family. He made it clear to anyone who might question her decision that he stood absolutely by her side, believing she was making the right choice for their children and their family. William also personally thanked the staff who had supported Catherine through her illness, writing letters expressing gratitude for their loyalty, discretion, and genuine care. He acknowledged that they had gone far beyond professional obligations, protecting Catherine's privacy and dignity during her most vulnerable moments, and that their dedication had meant everything to both of them. He shared that knowing his wife was surrounded by such devoted, caring individuals had given him peace during the terrifying hours when he could not be by her side. He promised that regardless of how Catherine's role evolved, they would always be valued members of the extended family surrounding William, Catherine, and their children. Staff who received these letters were deeply moved, recognizing the vulnerability it took for the future king to express such personal gratitude, to acknowledge his own fears and relief, and to treat them as trusted confidants rather than mere employees. It reinforced everything they already knew about the couple. Despite their titles and extraordinary circumstances, William and Catherine were fundamentally good people who valued loyalty, kindness, and genuine human connection. As December 2024 drew to a close and the new year approached, a palpable sense of cautious optimism surrounded Catherine and her journey forward. Her medical team was encouraged by her response to treatment, and although the word cured was never used, there was genuine hope that she had faced down this terrible disease and emerged victorious. Catherine approached the future with renewed purpose and clarity. Her decision to scale back royal duties was not a retreat from life or an admission of defeat, but a conscious choice to spend these irreplaceable years fully present in her children's lives. She wanted to be there for school runs, homework sessions, weekend sports and ballet recitals, and family holidays without the constant pressure of official engagements. She wanted simply to be mommy without the weight of the princess title constantly attached. Yet she also made clear her intention to eventually return to a more active public role, continuing to champion causes close to her heart: early childhood development, mental health awareness, and supporting families in crisis once she was ready. Her legacy of compassion over the past 13 years had already transformed the monarchy's engagement with mental health, destigmatizing conversations about emotional well-being and drawing attention to the importance of early childhood support. Those who had worked alongside her recognized that this health crisis, though devastating, would ultimately make her an even more empathetic and effective leader, deepening her understanding of vulnerability, mortality, and the need for compassion. The ordeal had also strengthened bonds within Kensington Palace. Staff who had supported Catherine through treatment and respected her difficult decisions now felt more connected to her than ever, not as employees to a royal employer, but as extended family who had weathered a storm together. There was unanimous belief that she would return stronger, wiser, and more determined, bringing renewed energy, deeper empathy, and hard-won wisdom to her work. The tears shed by palace staff upon learning of her decision to step back were tears of love, concern, and bittersweet understanding, tears for someone who had treated them with unwavering kindness, who had chosen the quiet, private moments of motherhood over public recognition, and whose absence would be deeply felt. Yet beneath those tears was profound respect and hope. Catherine's choice was seen as an act of love, a mother prioritizing her children, a wife committed to her husband, and a woman recognizing what truly matters when faced with life's fragility. In that love, painful as its immediate consequences might be, there was beauty, courage, and hope for a future in which Catherine, healed and whole, would continue her meaningful work with even greater purpose and passion than ever before.